South Catholic Innovation Team is doing our project on the U.S. population and its trends. The U.S. population is ever-changing. Every day, people are born, and people are died for various reasons. As you can see on the graph over here, the U.S. population has significantly increased over the last 19 years, from 2001 to 2020. However, this graph isn't all that impressive. This pie chart over here represents the types of death occur throughout the U.S. from the last 19 years. Through death, we can take a closer look at the structure of the U.S. Using matplotlib and data sets provided by the CDC, we broke down the data on U.S. deaths to accurately depict and explain changes the U.S. underwent. As you can see on this graph over here, 68.2% are unintentional, 19.8% are suicide, 9.2% are homicide, 2.6% are undetermined intent, 0.2% are legal intervention. First, we take a look at suicide rate. Suicide rates has steadily increased over the past 20 years, and in 2018, it declined for the first time in a decade. The rate has increased for a variety of reasons. The rise of social media in the early 2000s could possibly be a factor. Next, let's take a look at homicide rates. Homicide rates has varied over the past 20 years, started off high in 2001 and slowly declined. In 2014, it started to rise again, and it really jumped from 2019 to 2020. The large increase in total homicides can be attributed to the rise of firearm homicides. Firearm homicides have always been an issue, but gun violence really began to take off in 2014 due to the considerable growth in mass shootings across the U.S. Guns have also been used more and more in other violent crimes like robbery. Next, we have infant mortality. As you can see, the infant mortality rate has been decreased over the last 20 years. This is because babies have been dying less due to the advances in medical technology. As of 2020, the infant mortality rate has been at its lowest. On the contrary, the elderly deaths have been rising. The baby boomer generation has been becoming older, leading to the growth in the elderly deaths. As the U.S. population continues to grow, we should see elderly deaths continue to grow further until the advances in medical technology catch up. Now we're going to take a look at the most 3 common types of disease that lead to the most death over the last 20 years. Heart disease. Heart disease has been an issue since 2001 and continues to be an issue. This is linked to the rising number of Americans with obesity. Diabetes has been an issue as well. The deaths due to diabetes have been increasing in the last 20 years. Alzheimer's deaths have increased by 80,000. We saw before that elderly deaths have grown by a substantial amount. The growth in elderly death and Alzheimer's are linked, as people tend to get Alzheimer's disease when they get older. Taking a look at the U.S. population and breaking it down into death trends can give us a lot of information. When looking at these graphs, it's clear how they can tell a story. We can see that gun violence and mental health are important issues that should not be overlooked. The rise in both suicide and firearm homicides show that these issues are growing. However, the decline in suicide in 2018 gives hope that it can be prevented. Heart disease has remained an issue since 2001 and is probable to become a bigger issue with growing obesity rates. Elderly and Alzheimer's deaths have increased by a large amount due to aging of the baby boomer generation. But on the bright side, infant mortality rates have decreased due to medical advances. When we turn the walls of text and data sets into something that can be visualized, we can see a lot more. This allows us to analyze the trends, make predictions, and find problems that need to be solved.